What is up, you guys? It is Zach coming at you with another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different one. I am going to be taking a look at a bunch of Nintendo GameCube styled Switch controllers, and I'll basically be reviewing them one by one and telling you guys which ones I recommend over others. Each one of these controllers has a very different function, so they're all good for very different things, and I'll go into all of my thoughts in today's video. I do have 5 controllers here, but I do have a 6th one that I just got not too long ago, so I'm going to be unboxing that one at the very end of the video and talking about that one, but for the first part of the video, I'm going to be talking about all of these ones that I have laid out in front of me. So if you guys enjoy this video, definitely make sure to drop a like down below, and of course subscribe if you like this kind of content. I'm really excited for this video. It's a different idea, it's a little more fun, and I cannot wait to get into it. So, without any further ado, let's get right on into the video. So, the first controller we're going to start off with here is this bad boy. So, this is a standard GameCube controller. Well, this one's the Wavebird specifically, but this is a standard GameCube controller. Now, you can actually use authentic GameCube controllers on the Nintendo Switch using the GameCube to Nintendo Switch adapter that you can get online very, very easily. Now, here's the thing, right? As much as I love the authentic GameCube controller, I mean, the Wavebird specifically is like one of my favorite controllers of all time, I seriously have a hard time really recommending this to you for using with your Nintendo Switch. And here's why, right? Using it for Smash, top tier. I mean, you know, having GameCube controller, an authentic original GameCube controller with Smash Bros. Ultimate, unbeatable combo. Like, you cannot beat it. But for basically anything else, any other reason, really not that great. And what I more so mean, I don't mean for games specifically. I mean, some games it's not great for because there's a lot of buttons missing, but that's the issue. If you want to use it regularly for your Nintendo Switch, it's not great because it doesn't have a home button. It doesn't have a capture button. It only has one start button. There's a lot of things that the original GameCube controller just doesn't have. But, like I said, if you are a fan of Smash Brothers, if you want to use it for specific games and specific games only, I think it is very much a well-worthy buy, just because, I mean, if you already have GameCube controllers lying around, if you're someone like me and you're a GameCube fanatic, then obviously you're going to have some spare controllers lying around. So getting yourself the adapter is an easy choice. It is a very easy thing to do. But like I said, for more regular use, for, you know, everyday Switch use, I seriously cannot really recommend the GameCube Switch adapter for that, again, for the reasons I stated earlier. The next controller I'm going to talk about is this one right here, the PowerA wireless GameCube Pro controller. Now, there actually is a wired variant as well, so you can get this with or without the wire. And honestly, I would say this is definitely one of the stronger contenders out there in terms of controllers. To me, out of all of these, this one feels the most authentic. This one feels the most like an actual GameCube controller. It takes AA batteries, which is kind of the one main downside with this controller, that it does not charge. You can't plug it in and charge it. You have to use 2 AA batteries, which is pretty unfortunate. But with those AA batteries, you also get substantial weight, which makes this controller feel higher quality. You know, it's got a lot of heft to it. It feels good in the hand. Like, it feels like a proper GameCube controller, just with the extra bells and whistles needed to function like a Switch controller. You have the home button, you have the capture button, you have a left bumper button. You have the proper necessary buttons to really make this a good everyday controller. Honestly, if you play this in dock mode a lot, I really do recommend this controller. Having this, you know, with your Switch when playing in dock mode, there's no better combination if you just like having the GameCube layout. Now, not a lot of games are great with the GameCube controller just because of their controls. Like, there are some games like the Crash Reignited trilogy, no, that's Spyro Reignited trilogy, the Crash Insane trilogy, there we go, where the B button is used to jump, and on the GameCube controller, it just feels super awkward to do that. So there are some games that just naturally don't feel good with a GameCube controller, and none of these controllers would work in that sense with, you know, a game like that. But if the controls, in your muscle memory are something that you can change, I still do really recommend this controller for docked play. I mean, playing Mario Party Superstars and having the GameCube minigames being played with this controller is just top tier. So I do highly recommend this one. It's about $50, I believe, so if you want to pick it up, they're pretty easy to find. You can get it in silver, black, and purple. I don't think there's any other colors. I think those are the three main ones, so if you want them, I'll leave links to all these controllers in the description down below. Alright, now we're moving on to a pair of JoyCons. These were actually the first GameCube-inspired controllers I believe that I got for the Switch. It's either these two or this. But these ones are probably the quirkiest. Now, first of all, I actually don't even think you can get these anymore. I don't think, you can get them on Amazon anymore, which is where I originally got them. Honestly, these controllers are really weird because I think they serve their purpose really well. They do a lot of great things, but at the same time, they also fail at a lot of things. Now, let me talk about the positives first. Firstly, as you can tell, they are styled like actual Joy-Cons, so they are easier to take with you, and it doesn't make the Switch super bulky, as some other controllers do. They fit right on there, about the size of the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, but they do have a nice curved back, so that when you hold them, they actually do conform to your hands really nicely. At least for me, I have medium-sized hands, so they do feel nice in the hand. And, they got the traditional sticks, of the GameCube controllers, obviously a lot smaller and more different than traditional GameCube ones, but honestly, I do think there is a lot great with this controller in terms of its design. And the price, it was a budget controller, and yes, it doesn't have, I don't think it has an NFC or anything like that, but you get your basic bells and whistles. I believe there's gyro, there's decent rumble, they do the job quite well for being a budget option. Now, here's the not great things about them. Firstly, the face buttons, while not horrible, I think my main issue with the face buttons is that most of them are very flush to the controller. With the game controller, the buttons really stick out and they're very easy to press. Here, they're especially the A button is almost flat with the controller, and I don't really like that. I wish they popped out a little bit more just to be a little easier to press. And also, the one thing with these controllers I don't understand is that charging them is really weird. Firstly, you have to charge them using micro USB, not USB-C, micro USB, which I don't know how many people have micro USB anymore. And here's the thing also I find kind of weird. I'll put them on the Switch so that you can see what they're like on the Switch. It's weird. I don't think the Switch charges them. You can't charge them by, sliding them into the Switch. It doesn't work like that. You have to plug them in via the USB. At least I think that's the case. I think when they're on the Switch, they'll stay charged. You can play them infinitely on the Switch and they'll stay charged. It's just when they come off, and they're off for a little while, you have to plug them back in to give them a charge so that you can plug them back into the Nintendo Switch for it to work. So it is kind of a shame. I feel like this would all be mitigated if they just charged when you put them on the Switch. That would make it 100 times easier for me to recommend, because with this issue, it makes them way more of a hassle to use, because if you want to use regular Joy-Cons and you switch them out for a day and you put them back on and they're dead, well, now you have to charge them both. And it doesn't come with a holder or whatever that you can charge them both on simultaneously. You have to charge them one at a time, or you need to have two micro USB cables. So they're really a pain in that aspect. Honestly, like I said, fix the face buttons and get the stupid micro USB to USB-C, or allow charging on the Switch itself, and you've got a really solid freaking Joy-Con set. These are solid controllers for the price, but with these flaws, I can't recommend them. And honestly, like I said, they're not even on the market anymore. They're not on Amazon, so I don't even know how easy they are to find anyways. Maybe they are on Amazon now, but last time I checked, they're not. So, I don't know. These are probably the ones I recommend the least out of all of these. Alright, next up is my one and only wired controller, and that is this one. I believe this one is this is PDP, sorry, I just looked in the back. This is PDP. It's a wired, I think it's called like the Wired Fight Pad or something. Now this one plugs in via USB-A, which obviously is on the docks. There's like usually 2 or 3 on each dock. And honestly, this controller is also really solid. I like that unlike the PowerA controller, the triggers on the back are just standard triggers. They don't have the extreme pull of the PowerA ones. Obviously, the one main downside is that it's wired. You have to play wired to the console. Honestly, the thing is though, I don't use this too much for the Nintendo Switch. Just simply because of the fact of the wire. I prefer the wireless options like the PowerA one. But I will say I actually do use this with my PC a lot. Whenever I'm emulating, because sometimes I'm a Neanderthal, so sometimes connecting my Bluetooth controllers to my computer can just be a pain. Sometimes I just kind of rather plug it in just to make life easier for myself. And I just end up using it for that purpose. Whether it be my Steam library or emulating, that's usually what I end up using this controller for. So honestly, I do recommend this one if you specifically are into PC gaming and need a GameCube controller for your, endeavors, whether you're using Dolphin or Steam or whatever you're using. I do recommend it for that. Or if you really don't mind the wired controller option, it's not a bad controller to get for the Nintendo Switch as well. I just think the wireless options that are out there are leagues better than this. Now, of course, I don't have every single GameCube controller for the Switch, so maybe there's some that I'm missing that are better than this, but nonetheless, I do think it is still a good controller. Alright, next up is this behemoth. This is the NYXI Wizard controller. Now, I have also mixed thoughts on this controller. As JoyCons, I think they look absolutely wicked on the Switch because it's basically a GameCube controller split in half on the Nintendo Switch. Like, putting these on the Nintendo Switch and just, like, looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, this looks super freaking cool. You can change out these inner rings to make it so that you don't have the clicky octagonal whatever thing in there. You can have it so that it's a smooth like a regular thumbstick. And yeah, I do find the quality of these controllers really, really good. My main issue with them is the freaking size. These things are massive. Like, look, right? I love the GameCube controller as much as the next guy, and having like a proper feeling GameCube controller in the hand with the Nintendo Switch is freaking amazing. But they're just too big. They are too big to bring this thing anywhere like comfortably. And I don't even mean the width. The width doesn't bother me. It's just the freaking amount of space here, the gap here, that just makes this kind of awkward to carry around. And I don't know. It's just, there's something about it I don't like. And also, look, I mentioned earlier that I don't like how this works on the Nintendo Switch. Like, on the GameCube, the analog triggers are amazing, but on the Switch, they just kind of don't make sense because nearly no Switch games support the analog triggers. But I don't like the techie, modern, clickiness. Like, look. Like, that's like the sounds of like a mechanical keyboard. And I feel like whenever I'm really intense on the triggers, that I'm gonna break them just because, like, I don't know, like, I'm always hammering the triggers and they just feel too modern in a weird kind of way. Like, like, you see the buttons light up. Oh, okay, they're off now. But it just feels too modern, and it doesn't always nail the feel of the game controller in that way, especially with the C-stick being just a regular thumbstick. I heard that you can mod the regular C-stick and regular thumbstick. Actually, even the regular thumbstick isn't even styled after the GameCube controller. So, I heard you can mod those thumbsticks in, but that's effort. So, yeah, honestly, I'd recommend this to use as a Pro controller, not to use as Joy-Con. It's a solid controller, it's solidly built, and it has most of the bells and whistles that typical Joy-Cons do, besides NFC, but it's just too big for practical handheld use. I really just recommend it as a Pro controller. And I do believe NYXI are releasing a Pro controller version of these Joy-Cons, basically, just as a Pro controller. So, honestly, I would just say get that if you'd want this modern-ish take on the GameCube controller. So there you have it. Those are the 5 GameCube controllers that I've been using, and like I said, I recommend them all for different kinds of things. If you want the traditional GameCube experience, go with the original. If you want a traditional GameCube experience with all the Switch bells and whistles, go for PowerA. If you want more traditional Joy-Cons and don't mind the flaws of it, I would say get these ones. If you want a wired controller, get this one. If you want a more modern feeling GameCube controller, get this one. But that leads me to this package. There's one notable controller that I've left out of all of this that I actually did not even know existed until a couple weeks ago. And I really wanted to get it because it takes a combination of like a few of these different controllers and puts it into one. So I'm gonna get unboxing this. Alright, so the controller that I have to show you today is the Doyoky controller. This is the one controller that I did not get, I never had until now. So it's very much like the NYXI Wizard, but apparently it's a lot slimmer, it's a little more, you know, it forms to the Switch a little bit more, and it has more of the features that the GameCube controller does. So, I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to test them out live right here for you. Alright, so I'm opening up the box here, and as you can see, there's the controller. It looks very much like the GameCube controller. Gonna pull this out because I heard, yeah, because there are the thumbsticks there that I'm hoping that you can see. I'm gonna move some stuff actually. Okay, so there's 4 different thumbstick variants in here. Now, the thumbsticks on this thing, I believe you can literally just pull off. Yeah, like that. That was very easy to do, and honestly, recommend. So, okay, yeah, this is much, this is much thinner than that, and it feels more authentic. Okay, yeah, I like this a lot. I like how this feels a lot. It definitely feels way more authentic than the NYXI Wizard does. The control sticks are the way they are on the GameCube controller. You know, the ringed one and then the small C stick. The C stick, there's no cap on it. It's like just like a little nub. But honestly, it does not feel bad. It does not feel bad. Actually, I don't want to say that I prefer it, but it is good. It is very serviceable for what it's trying to do. The A, B, Y, and X buttons, I'm clicking on them right now. Now, I'm not like an expert on GameCube controllers. Like, you know, like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm like a controller snob and a controller expert. But everything feels about right. I will say it has a slightly cheaper feel to it than something like the NYXI. It definitely, besides these Joy-Cons, like these GameCube Joy-Cons, it's definitely the cheapest feeling. I think it's also just because it's the lightest. Like, I mean, the size difference between these two is freaking night and day, and the weight is very, very different. But that doesn't bother me, especially because if I'm going to be playing in handheld mode most of the time, I kind of want them to be a little bit lighter. I don't want a super heavy Switch. So, ooh, and this stand's nice. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these to my Switch and do a little playing around, and I'll report back to you on how I feel about them. Alright, so I've booted up Mario Kart 8 here, and obviously I've got the Doyoky. Like, look how much thinner that is than the NYXI Wizard. I'm just gonna play a quick race here. I'm gonna put some B-roll up for you guys to see. Playing as my girl Birdo, naturally. Let me start a race here real quick. Oh my god! All my thumbsticks went all over the place. Whatever. Well, I'm playing Mario Kart now. I'm on Waluigi Stadium. I'll put some B-roll up so that you guys can see how it looks to play. Honestly, you guys, it feels really... Ooh, the vibration's actually really good, too. It's not like HD rumble, but, like, it feels good. Like, I mentioned earlier how the controllers feel kind of cheap, and, like, they definitely do feel, like, on the cheaper end of things. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because of the fact that this is also a portable console, we have to keep in mind, like, having them not be these super bulky, heavy controllers is actually kind of nice. And yeah, I feel like the quality is nice here. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time trying out a bunch of different games. If you want me to, then I guess maybe I can do it on like a live stream or something. But I mean, the vibration, I'm noticing like the vibration is actually super nice. Not too crazy. Like a lot of people like the really crazy like rumble. It's not for me. Like, I don't need super crazy rumble. Just a nice light rumble is perfectly fine to me. And I will say also, like I mentioned, the NYXI Wizard's triggers are really clicky. And these ones are silent and feel softer to use. They don't feel as intense, and honestly, I really prefer it. The only thing, and I didn't see this, and this is something I think every company that has JoyCons that are different than traditional JoyCons in terms of their size and shape, they need to have a case. They need to make a case that you can use, that you can carry these JoyCons in, just so that, you know, they're easier to carry around. Yeah, I mean, I've only done one race, but honestly, these controllers are really nice. I need more time to get used to them to really give a solid review, but I can already tell, like, this, you can charge, unlike these, you can charge both of these at one time with the, with this middle piece here, and I do believe they also charge on the Switch anyways, so that doesn't even really matter. So, I mean, if you're looking for authentic feeling GameCube controllers as Joy-Cons, I mean, so far, like I said, I need more time with it, but I really do like these so far. They're pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. I presented to you a lot of different controllers that you can use if you like the GameCube, if you're a fan of the GameCube. Let me know which one of these appeals to you the most. Like I said, each of them have a purpose. Each of them serves some sort of purpose. I would say, honestly, if you want authentic feeling game controllers on the go, I'd say give these a shot. Like I said, I need to play with them a little bit more. But also, this controller is really good for docked use as well. And like I said, each one of them has their functions. It's completely subjective on which one you think is the best. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so you're notified of when I upload videos. And of course, check out the merch store. There's some cool ZakPak merch up on there for you to check out. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you all in the next video.